Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Unfog with Dr. Atahar Parvin. Here I am with the next class of July 2024 previous year question paper based on CTET Science. We have been solving this question paper right from the beginning, and now this is the fifth class wherein we will be discussing the last part of science questions from this question paper. If you are an aspirant who is preparing for a CTET, then this class is a must-watch class for you. But also, if you are a teacher recruitment aspirant who is preparing for HSTR, GPSTR and PSTR, then also this class will be very useful for you because this question paper has a variety of questions and it will give you idea about what type of questions can be asked in your CTET exam. You have to make sure that you attend CTET this time because CTET is also one of the way for your getting eligibility for Karnataka government teacher recruitment job. Okay, so please make sure that you watch this video till the end, and also let us know in the comment section if you have any doubts or if you want more classes. Then also you write in the comment section which type of class you want. If you clearly specify, we will try to make that type of class to help you in your exam preparation. Okay, so let us start the class with the next question. Question number 76. In the previous class, we stopped till question number 75. Okay, so this question number 76, what does it say? It is basically a biology question. It says that which of the following is not caused due to excessive use of fertilizer and pesticides. So remember, here they are telling not. So if they are telling not in the question, then you should make sure that you find out the answer which is not from this particular group of the options, right? So which of the following is not caused due to excessive use of fertilizer and pesticides? It means that there are three options among these four which are caused due to excessive use of fertilizer and pesticides. There is only one option which is not caused due to excessive use of fertilizer and pesticides. Okay, that will be our correct answer here. So now, first of all, you should be knowing the meaning of each option, right? Then only it will be possible for you to find out the correct answer. Let's start with the first option. Eutrophication. What is eutrophication? It is actually the excessive growth of algae in water. This excessive growth of algae happens in water because of a presence of more and more nutrients in it. And this actually happens because of fertilizers which are rich in nitrates and phosphates, and those fertilizers, if they are present in water bodies, then this eutrophication happens. Next option is biomagnification. Biomagnification means if there is increase in concentration of toxic substances at higher trophic levels, we call it as biomagnification. What are these higher trophic levels? See, actually we write a food chain, right? In that food chain, organisms occupying top positions in that food chain. No, like for example, we have grass, deer, lion. Here, the highest trophic level is actually occupied by lion, right? So here, there is increase in concentration of toxic substances at higher trophic levels. This actually happens because of use of non-biodegradable pesticides which enters into the food chain through the lower trophic levels, right? For example, if we talk about this food chain, grass, deer and lion, if we have a lot of pesticides in the grass, then that will be eaten by deer and deer will be eaten by lion. This is how biomagnification happens, which actually happens at higher trophic levels. Then we have soil erosion. We all know what is soil erosion, right? Soil erosion means there is removal of a top fertile layer of soil. Now, why does that actually happen? That soil erosion actually happens because of deforestation or overgrazing. That means if animals eat a lot of plants in that particular land, then also indirectly there will be deforestation, right? And because of this, the topmost fertile layer of the soil will be eroded. Also because of construction and the mining activities nowadays which happen frequently, because of that also soil erosion happens. Then talking about fourth option, nitrification. Nitrification means it is a conversion of ammonia into nitrates and nitrites. Now this conversion of ammonia into nitrites and nitrates, this actually happens because of bacteria present in soil. This also happens due to excess of nitrogenous fertilizers in soil. Now you understood all the four options, right? Now seeing these four options, now you can clearly say that soil erosion is the one which is not caused due to excessive use of fertilizer and pesticides. Actually the reason for soil erosion is deforestation, construction, mining activities, etc. Okay, clear, right? So this way, whenever you come across one question from any previous year question paper, if you learn about all the options, if you learn the background of that particular question, indirectly you are preparing for all your teacher recruitment exams, and indirectly you are preparing for 5 to 6 questions from one question only. Okay, so this is the best way to prepare yourself using the previous year question papers. Next, question number 77. An odometer in a car measures. Now this is particularly a very important question, because see, this question paper is July 2024 question paper, but this particular question also came in GPSTR 2022 question paper. So in 2022 one question came in GPSTR, which is a Karnataka CET exam. Same question coming in 2024 in CTET exam, the central TET exam. Similar questions can be asked any year in any exam. Basically this is also a teacher recruitment exam only. It is giving you eligibility, right? So that's why you can expect overlapping of questions from any previous question paper in your upcoming exams also. Okay. So coming back to this question, an odometer in a car measures. See the options: average speed of the car, acceleration of the car, distance traveled by the car, instantaneous speed of the car. Actually, odometer records total distance covered by a vehicle. So here the correct answer will be option 3. Talking about instantaneous speed of the car, for this there is another instrument, we can say. We call it as a speedometer, which is also fixed in that vehicle. Okay. Next, another question from physics part, optics. Identify the mirrors on the basis of information given in the following table. So they have given here mirrors ABCD. They have given here the nature of images. Here in this column they have given size of images. Now in this type of questions, you will get confused by seeing the options. See here, so many options are there with the match the followings here. So here in this type of questions, you should use your knowledge and whatever you have prepared now, that you should write down in the margin. Things will become easy then. See here, for a plane mirror, the nature of the image is always virtual and erect, and the size is not changing. The size of the image is same as the size of the object. For a concave mirror, the image is real and inverted, or it can also be enlarged and virtual. For a convex mirror, the image is always virtual, it is erect, and it is always diminished. Now using this knowledge, you can easily answer the question now. See here, if it is mirror A, it is virtual and erect, and the image size is same as the object. It means that it is a plane mirror. For mirror B, it is a real and inverted, and image size is same as object. It means that it will be a concave mirror. Then for mirror C, the image nature is real and inverted, and size is enlarged. See here, it is again a concave mirror. For mirror D, the nature of image is virtual and direct, and size is diminished. It means it is a convex mirror. So plane mirror, concave mirror, convex mirror. So here option 1 will be the correct answer. Okay, clear, right? So with this type of points, you have to match and you have to reach to the final answer. Do not get confused by seeing the options here. First, apply your knowledge, find out your answer, match your answer with the option here. Okay. Now, because this is a science part question, you will get biology questions also, you will get physics questions also, later you will get chemistry questions also, then you will get some of the questions from a science pedagogy also. Okay. Next question. 3 identical holes are punched at different levels or heights in a plastic bottle. The bottle is filled with water. Which of the following statements is true regarding the flow of water from the holes? So let me give you the diagram so that you can imagine exactly what the question says. They are telling that there are 3 identical holes. Okay, they are punched in a plastic bottle. Now instead of a plastic bottle, we have taken some can. It is a plastic can, you think. Imagine a bottle here. Now 3 holes are punched here at different heights. Now the question is telling that the bottle is filled with water. Then which of the following statements is true regarding the flow of water from the holes? You have to find out the true statements here, right? See option A, water from lowest hole comes out with the greatest force. See the diagram? Water from lowest hole comes out with the greatest force. True, because here high pressure jet will be there. As the height increases, the pressure decreases. See here the topmost hole, it will have low pressure jet because the height is increased here. Okay. Now see option B, water from highest hole comes out with greatest force. False. If option A is true, then obviously option B should be false, right? Next, option number C, water from all holes come out with the equal force. Next, option D, water from lowest hole falls at maximum distance. Yes, if you see here the horizontal distance, the water with lowest hole will fall at a maximum distance. The horizontal distance is maximum from the lowest hole water only, right? Then option E, water from highest hole falls at, no, false, right? Because if option D is true, then option E will be false because it is ulta here, right? Then option F, water from all holes fall at same distance, false only, right? Now in all the options, what are the 2 options which we found were correct? Option A and option D. So correct answer will be option 2. Okay, so the statements A and D are true about the situation mentioned here. Okay. Next, question number 80. The color of flame depends on, and the 3 factors they are telling here in the question are nature of combustible substance, oxygen supply, temperature of the surroundings. Then they are given you 4 options with the combinations here. See, talking about flame here, actually the color of the flame depends upon only 2 factors. One is nature of the combustible substance, another is supply of oxygen. That combustion can be complete combustion or incomplete combustion, right? So these 2 factors only are there. So here the correct answer will be combination of statement A and B. So option 1 will be the correct answer here. Now talking about complete and incomplete combustion, let me give you a gist about these 2 terms also. See, complete combustion means if the fuel is burning in sufficient oxygen, we call it as a complete combustion. Now complete combustion produces carbon dioxide, water, and there is no smoke, and the flame which is occurring is blue in color. While it is ulta in incomplete combustion, here the burning of fuel is happening in limited oxygen. Okay, there oxygen was sufficient, here it is limited. And incomplete combustion produces carbon monoxide, some carbon particles will be there, released there, and flame color will be yellow, and smoke will also be there. And in that smoke only those carbon particles can be there, along with carbon monoxide that is also released here in incomplete combustion. So you can expect any type of question from this much of information which we have given here. Okay. A class 7 teacher plans to identify alternate conceptions of students in the topic adaptations in plants and animals. Which of the following sets of strategies is best suited for this purpose? So here the class teacher of a 7th standard had planned to identify alternate conceptions of students in the topic adaptations in plants and animals. So you have to find out which is the strategy here the teacher will have to use, which is best suited for this purpose. Alternate conception means it is misconception actually. Okay. And of the 4 options, the best answer would be option 1, because we are talking about diagnostic questionnaire, interview and drawings here. So diagnostic questionnaire actually always finds whatever the wrong ideas are there in the student's mind. And interview will also help understanding the student's reasoning. And drawings though of course always show students' mental representation. So the teacher will have to use option 1 here, which includes the strategies like diagnostic questionnaire, interview and drawings. Okay. Next, question number 82. Sunita drops a piece of potassium metal in a beaker of cold water and notes down the observation. Which of the following observation is not correct? See, again there is a question which is having not. So not means one statement is only wrong here. Rest 3 statements are true here. So that wrong statement you have to find out here, right? So obviously this is a chemistry question talking about metals and non-metals. So here if you see the options, hydrogen gas is evolved, pop sound is heard, potassium reacts violently with water. Actually these 3 statements are true regarding this chemical reaction here. Actually potassium reacts violently with cold water, hydrogen gas is evolved and it also may produce pop sound. Now this type of reaction which is giving sound also and is reacting violently also means large amount of heat will be released, right? And the chemical reaction wherein large amount of heat is released, we call it as an exothermic reaction, right? And a chemical reaction wherein the heat is absorbed, we call it as an endothermic reaction. Now the reaction which is taking place here with potassium metal in a beaker of cold water is actually releasing large amount of heat. So it should be an exothermic reaction. So option 4 is not correct for this particular chemical reaction. Okay. Next, question number 83. Following table depicts color changes in acids and bases when various indicators are added. So see this table, there are these 4 indicators: turmeric, China rose, phenolphthalein and methyl orange. And what is happening when this indicator is added to acid? What is the color here? And what is happening if that indicator is added in bases? This is the list here. Now seeing the options you will get scared. So again you have to apply your knowledge here. Like for example, I am taking some examples also to make you all understand. See, talking about turmeric, let us say that the turmeric is added in acid. For instance, let us take that acid as a lemon. Okay, it has citric acid, right? So what happens if you add turmeric, haldi in Hindi, right? Haldi. That turmeric, if it is added in lemon, there is no change in color. But if you add the turmeric in a soap, it is a base. The example of base can be soap, right? So if you add turmeric to soap, it will change its color. It will become reddish brown. Like that only if you add China rose to citric acid or lemon, it will become dark pink and soap will become green color. Talking about phenolphthalein, if you add that phenolphthalein in vinegar, it stays colorless. But if you add it in lime water, it becomes pink. Then methyl orange, if you add it in lemon, that color will become orange, and if you add it in soap solution, it will become pink. So what all are there here? Alphabets, no? So those alphabets now we have filled with soap, that is reddish brown. Then in soap solution it becomes green. Then here vinegar becomes colorless and lemon becomes orange, right? So reddish brown, green, colorless, orange. Reddish brown, green, colorless, orange. So option 3 will be the correct answer here. So this way you can write down the information you have in a margin or below in the question paper or wherever you are allowed to do so, and you can come to the final answer there. Next question. Now biology questions have started. Two sperms of a man fuse with the two eggs of a woman. The twins formed are, so there are four options, maybe identical or fraternal, always conjoined, identical or fraternal. So these are the four options they have given here. See, two sperms of a man fuse with two eggs of a woman. Talking about two different eggs here. So those type of twins we call as a fraternal. Actually, the two different sperms fertilizing two different eggs, they produce two separate zygotes. Now that type of twins where there are dizygotic twins, we call them as fraternal. They are genetically different. They are like normal siblings. They don't look like twins. Okay, so the correct answer here is fraternal. Next question. Which of the following illustrates science as an inquiry? See four options. List 5 uses of coconut tree. Observe types of venation in various leaves. Classify given plants into herbs, shrubs and trees. Explore factors which affect the rate of germination in gram seeds. See, actually science as inquiry, it actually involves asking questions, doing lot of experiments and finding answers by doing investigations. So the correct answer here should be option 4 because it includes exploring factors which affect rate of germination in gram seeds. Okay, so wherever asking questions is there, doing experiments is there and finding answers through investigation is there, that is your nothing but science as inquiry. Okay, clear, right? Next, question number 86. Read the following statements and choose the correct option. First statement is photosynthesis is endothermic reaction and second statement is respiration is exothermic reaction. See, photosynthesis actually uses energy from sunlight, right? So because it is absorbing energy or absorbing heat, we can call it as a endothermic reaction. Whereas respiration actually releases energy, so it is a exothermic reaction. So whatever the statements given here, photosynthesis is endothermic, respiration is exothermic, both the statements are true here. So option 3 will be the correct answer here. Okay. Next, which of the following activities is best suited to develop inductive reasoning? Actually, inductive reasoning means learning one rule by observing many different type of examples. For example, when students measure angles in different cases, they will be seeing different patterns and they will also understand the particular law which is there in that particular situation. By themselves they will learn it, right? So this is our inductive reasoning. So seeing 4 options, the correct option will be option 4 because here the teacher is telling students to measure angle of reflection for various cases of angle of incidence in plane mirror. So the laws, whatever is there, that the angle of incidence will be equal to angle of reflection. So that particular law, without even the teacher is telling, the students will learn it because they are measuring the angles, right? Once they measure the angle of incidence and then angle of reflection, they will understand that both the angles are same. The angles made from the normal to the horizontal, they are same here, right? So that will be the understanding which the students will themselves gain by doing this project, right? This we can call as the activity which is best suited to develop inductive reasoning in the students. Okay. Next, question number 88. This is a chemistry question. The atomic number of A is 13 and atomic number of B is 17. The chemical formula of the compound formed from the A and B could be. See, there is only one element which is having atomic number 13. There is only one element in the periodic table which is having atomic number 17. I will not tell the names of the elements here. I want you all to write the names of those elements with atomic number 13 and 17 in the comment section. Let us see how much you are focusing in the class and how much is your preparation. Okay. Anyway, coming back to this question, we have to find out the chemical formula of the compound which is formed from A and B. Here, if you write the electronic configuration for element A, the electronic configuration will be 283, right? So, in the outermost shell, the number of electrons will be 3. So, valency of A will be 3. Like that only, if you write electronic configuration for B, the valency will come out to be 1. So you have to do crisscross method here, and clearly the compound formed is AB3. Next question. It is an assertion and reason type of question. Read the statements given below and choose the correct option. What is the assertion statement? It is recommended that acid should be added to water for diluting the acid and not vice versa. So it means that it is always recommended for you to add acid to water so that you can dilute that acid, but you do not add water to the acid. And the reason statement is dilution of acid is a highly exothermic reaction. Now I think you have understood the situation. The correct answer here will be option 3, because both A and R are true and R is correct explanation of A. I will tell you again. See, if you add acid to water, then you will be safe when you compare to adding water to acid, because when you are diluting the acid by adding water to it, it is a highly exothermic reaction. So if you add acid to water, things will be in your control. But if you add water to acid, there will be large amount of acid already present in which you are adding water. So there is a highly exothermic reaction, and there are more chances that you will get hurt with that chemical reaction. Okay, you understood now, right? So option 3 is the correct answer here. Next, last question of the science part. Which of the following is not a feature of alternate conceptions in science? I told you, right? Alternate conception means misconceptions. Here you have to tell which is not a feature. It means that the 3 are the features of alternate conceptions here. Okay. So first one, you see, ideas are developed from observable features. True. Ideas do not demonstrate cause and effect reasoning. You cannot demonstrate because you are already in misconception, right? Because students use reasoning in misconception, but that reasoning is also wrong. So how can you demonstrate that reasoning here, right? Then ideas are stable. Yes, if you have a misconception, then your ideas will be stable. Ideas are resistant to change. Yes. See, if you have misconception in science, then option 1, 3 and 4 are likely to happen, right? Option 2 cannot happen because you will have to demonstrate and show the reasoning, which is not possible here because you are already having misconception, right? Clear, right? Okay, friends. So by this I will stop the class. Now science part of July 2024 question paper is finished now. Now you all should tell me in the comment section which class do you want next, and I will make next class only if I get many likes and many comments for this video, because I am noticing that aspirants are not taking these classes seriously. So that's why in that case then we will also not make next class. If you all watch classes seriously and give your feedback in the comment section, then only I will make next class for CTET. Okay friends, thank you, all the best, bye.